You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast. If you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot. Leave now. Run to your safe space. Get your little cloth for your tears. All the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any local or government agency. All right, welcome everybody. I was asked on this past Wednesday's podcast why I stopped doing the end of watch. Well, I just did. Honestly, I mean, I don't know all those people, but I've had a lot of friends die in the line of duty. I had 2 last year. We had Caleb, who got ran over by a dirtbag and ended up dying after over a month-long stay in the hospital, amputations and all stuff, and his body couldn't take it no more, and it came out and he died. And then we had Charles Riley, who I married him and his wife, was friends with him, and got shot and killed by a dirtbag. And I've had other friends through the years die, and every time I do it, it does bring back a lot of, I don't know, makes me think. But, you know, I was thinking about it, and the men and women that have on all these other agencies, they deserve somebody out there saying their name. So I'm gonna start doing it again. The Patreons, the video will be on the Patreon, so they can go along with me while I do it. But we're gonna start for right now. I'm just gonna do January and February, and at the beginning of next month we'll do March, and beginning of every month I'll do it like I did before. So y'all bear with me. This one may take a little longer. Hopefully there's not a lot of names. I didn't go through them. I haven't read them. This is going to be fresh for me as it is maybe for some of y'all. So we'll jump on into it here. At the end of it, I'll play a song that I didn't write all the lyrics myself. I used Chat GPT to help me. And I used Suno to sing it and do the music stuff, but it's like a end of watch type song that I just did last week. Thinking about it, it'll be at the end. I think it's about 4 or 5 minutes long. If y'all want to listen to it, you can. If you don't, that's up to you. But we'll jump into this other part and start reading the names and what happened to them. Starting on January 4th. As I said before, I would hopefully one of these years have 1 month where we don't have any law enforcement die. But that don't seem to be the case all the time, does it? That Constable Aaron Armstrong from the Caldwell County Constable's Office, Precinct 3 in Texas, is in to watch with Sunday, January the 4th, 2026. Deputy Constable Aaron Armstrong was shot and killed while attempting to arrest a man at Club Rodeo. That was in Austin. At 1:59 a.m., Deputy Constable Armstrong, who was in uniform and identified himself as a peace officer, removed the subject from the club who was causing a disturbance. The subject pushed Deputy Armstrong and fled into the parking lot. The subject remained in the parking lot with a group of people and began shouting at Deputy Armstrong. When Deputy Armstrong attempted to arrest the man, the group prevented him from reaching the subject, who pulled out a gun and fired multiple times at Deputy Armstrong. Deputy Armstrong returned fire before he collapsed. One of the men in the group ran over Deputy Constable in his vehicle when he fled the scene. Oh, he ran over. I didn't know. He ran over the deputy when they were leaving also. He was transported to hospital where he succumbed to his wounds. The shooter had an extensive criminal record and was on probation, was apprehended, admitted his involvement, and was charged with capital murder. The driver was charged with assault of a peace officer. I don't see how it's assault. He ran over this man. That should be, he did die. He should be part of, also charged with murder, in my opinion. Deputy Constable Armstrong had served with Caldwell County Constable's Office Precinct 3 for over 1 year and previously served with the Smith Police Department. He is survived by his father, his mother, and his brother. Rest in peace, Deputy Armstrong. Let me see over here if I can see this part of it. I had other things on my screen. You'll have to excuse me for a second while I can get where I can see it. The cause of death was gunfire. The offender is in custody. He was 51 years old. He had a total of 5 years and 2 months on the job. It's another dirtbag. Next, we have police officer Stephen A. Laporta from the Uxbridge Police Department in Massachusetts, if I'm saying that correctly. I don't say names and stuff like that right, so don't drag me through the mud for it. His end of watch was Wednesday, January the 7th, 2026. He was 43 years old. He had 1 year and 7 months on the job. Police officer Stephen Laporta was struck and killed by the driver of a vehicle on Route 146 around 12:40 a.m. on northbound Route 146 past Exit 6. Officer Laporta was helping a disabled motorist in the freezing rain when a tractor-trailer hit him. Despite emergency responders providing life-saving measures, he died at the scene. The driver was transported to a local hospital and treated for minor injuries. Officer Laporta had been with the police department for 1 year. He is survived by his wife and the child. Don't say if the truck driver was arrested or not. It'll depend on, if he impaired or anything like that. It's a very unfortunate situation. You have to be careful when you're driving for sure. Next, we have police officer Terry L. Bennett from the Metropolitan Police Department in the District of Columbia. His end of watch was Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. And excuse me, I'm a little stopped up, and I don't even know why. He was 32 years old. He had 7 years and 11 months on the job. Police officer Terry Bennett succumbed to his injuries he received when he was struck by the driver of a vehicle while assisting a disabled motorist on Interstate 695 in Washington, D.C. on December 23rd, 2025. So he'd been in the hospital for a little while. Around 10:10 p.m., Officer Bennett stopped in the eastbound lanes of I-695 near South Capitol Street to help a motorist who had run out of gas. While standing outside of a police cruiser, a speeding driver attempted to change lanes, struck him. The disabled motorist was not injured. Officer Bennett was immediately transported to a local hospital where he died of his injuries on January 7th. The driver was unconscious after the crash and was taken to a hospital for minor injuries. He had been driving erratically and tested for blood alcohol concentration of twice the legal limit. He was charged with second-degree murder and denied bond, which I'm very surprised and shocked that they did that in Washington, D.C., which I'm happy about. He was drunk and killed this officer. He should be charged with murder and should spend the rest of his life in prison. Officer Bennett is served almost 8 years with the Metropolitan Police Department in D.C. He was assigned to the 1st District. He was survived by his wife and children. That's two on the same day, different divisions, but same day they were both run over by motorists. The first one seemed to be an accident. The second one, not so much. Next, we have police officer Elia Garrettson from a Corpus Cove Police Department in Texas. End of watch was on Sunday, January 11th. He was 27 years old, very young man. He had been on the job for 7 months. He was also a military veteran. Police officer Elijah Garrison was ambushed and killed near the intersection of Lost Trail and Great Hills Drive in Corpus Cove while responding to reports of a suspicious person. After lengthy negotiation with officers, the suspect was discovered dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suspect was on probation and wanted on a DWI warrant. I guess the guy just shot him or something. Yeah, so he shot him. I guess when he went to talk to him. Officer Garrison was a United States Army veteran, had served with the police department there for only 7 months. He was a recent graduate of the Central Texas College Police Academy. He's received the academic award for the highest grade point average in the class. He's survived by his wife and daughter. And the dirtbag took his own life. At least he was a coward, but he can burn in hell and save the taxpayers some money. So this is a 27-year-old young man, just so young, just started out in life. Next, we have Agent. I'm gonna totally destroy this, and I apologize. Anibal Morales appointee. It's probably close as I'm gonna get. He was 53 years old, 29 years on the job, 29 years. He was the agent succumbed to his injuries he received when his patrol motorcycle was struck by a driver who ran a red light. At 6:20 a.m. in the morning, the agent was driving on an avenue when a driver made an illegal left turn and crashed into him. He was transported to the hospital where he died of his injuries 6 days later. The agent had served with the Puerto Rico Police Department for 29 years and was assigned to the motorized unit. He's survived by his twin daughters, his mother, his life partner, and 2 stepdaughters. So, 29 years motor officer. Somebody pulled out in front of him, made an illegal turn. It's in Puerto Rico. I don't know the laws over there, so I don't know if they charged him or not. They don't have the information. I hope the person at least got charged. This next one is Deputy Sheriff Tim Jordan. His age is not available. He'd been on the job for 7 years. From his picture, if it's recent, he looks young, but I don't know. January 21st, 2026 was his end to watch from the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office in Louisiana. Deputy Sheriff Tim Jordan was killed in a train collision on Highway 3 at Benton and Kingston Road in Benton. Around 8 a.m., Deputy Jordan was conducting a traffic stop when a train traveling south struck his vehicle. He was transported to Ochsner LSU Health in Shreveport, where he succumbed to his injuries. Deputy Jordan had served with the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office for 4 years and previously served with the Alexandria Police Department for 3 years. He is survived by his wife, 2 children, parents, and 4 siblings. Next, we have Deputy Sheriff Christopher Olemeyer, which, if y'all listen, I did go and help escort at his funeral recently. It was at Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. His end of watch day was January 30th, 2026. Deputy Sheriff Christopher was killed while serving in a funeral escort on Airline Highway at around 11:40 a.m. As a member of the motor squad, he was stopping traffic to allow a funeral procession when he was struck by a vehicle from behind. He succumbed to his injuries at the scene. The driver vehicle was taken to the hospital. She was charged with vehicular homicide after she tested positive for multiple different drugs in her system. He had served with the sheriff's office there for 15 years. His survivors include his wife and his 2 children. He was 41 years old, been on the job 15 years. way this is loading is different than it used to. I apologize for the hesitation. Next, we have Deputy Sheriff Derek Boham or Bonham, however it's pronounced. His end of watch was January 30th, 2026. He was with the Weakley County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee. He was 38 years old, and he had 2 years on the job. He was also a military veteran. Deputy Sheriff Derrick was shot and killed responding to a shots fired call. He was assisting the Martin Police Department on a call about gunfire at the Days Inn at around 3:09 a.m. He tracked the driver of one of the vehicles reportedly involved in the shooting to a Pockets gas station at 821 University Street in Martin. When Deputy Bowman approached the driver, he asked her to exit the vehicle. She opened the door and fired at him. While he was on the ground, she walked up to him and shot him again 3 more times. He was transported to a volunteer community hospital where he passed away. The suspect was apprehended and charged with first-degree murder. He was a United States Army veteran and served with the Weakley County Sheriff's Office Department for 2 years. He had a wife and 3 children. So basically, this woman, loosely said, executed this man. Is what she did. She executed him. So I forgot I had made background music to play. Probably for no reason whatsoever. But, well, a lot of people nowadays just don't like law enforcement, and that's what we get. Thanks, news media, for making the job so much more difficult. Now we're into February. We have police officer Senor, I'm going to slaughter this completely, Pardeep Tamang from the Gwinnett County Police Department in Georgia. End of watch was February the 1st, 2026. He was 25 years old. He had 1 year and 4 months on the job. He was shot and killed responding to a fraud and forgery call at the Holiday Inn. When he and another officer arrived at the hotel at about 7:30 a.m., the suspect invited them into his hotel room. While inside, the suspect pulled out a gun and fired at both officers. One of the officers returned fire, striking the shooter. Additional officers arrived on the scene and rendered aid to the officers and the shooter. One officer remains in critical but stable condition. And Officer Tamang was transported to the hospital where he died of his wounds. The suspect, who has multiple felony convictions and active warrants, was initially taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening wounds and is in custody. He has been charged with malice murder, felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault against law enforcement, a receipt, possession, and transfer of a firearm. He has survived. He served with the police department there for 1 year. Previously served as a correctional officer at the Dauphin County Prison in Pennsylvania. He is survived by his brother and his fiance. I remember reading about that story. We have Deputy Sheriff Richard A. Haggard from Lee County Sheriff's Department in Mississippi. His end of watch was February the 2nd, 2026. He was 52 years old. He'd been on the job for 22 years and 9 months. He was struck and killed while directing traffic in front of an elementary school at around 3 p.m. 2 vehicles were involved in a collision, and Deputy Haggard, who was directing traffic, was struck. He survived. He served with the Lee County Sheriff's Department for 6 years and was a school resource officer for the elementary school. He had previously served with Clay County Sheriff's Department for 12 years. Survivors include his wife and 2 daughters. People don't realize how dangerous directing traffic actually is. We have Trooper Hunter R. Bennett from the Arizona Department of Public Safety in Arizona. End of watch was February 4th. He was 28 years old, 3 years and 8 months on the job. Trooper Hunter was killed in a helicopter crash while assisting the Flagstaff Police Department with an active shooter. At around 8:30 p.m., Flagstaff police officers were responding to a domestic violence call when a subject began shooting at officers with a long rifle. The subject continued to fire at officers as he ran from rooftop to rooftop in a neighborhood after 9 p.m. Trooper Bennett and the aviation supervisor, Robert Skanke, responded with tactical support. At 10:17, the Ranger 56 helicopter crashed, killing Trooper Bennett and the pilot. The suspect was apprehended as in the hospital with non-life-threatening wounds. He is survived by his wife. Young man, did the guy shoot at the helicopter or something else happened? I don't know. Next, we have police officer Brian D. Elliott of Beech Grove Police Department in Indiana. His end of watch was Monday, February the 16th. He was 33 years old. He had 5 years and 4 months on the job. Police officer Elliott was shot and killed while responding to a domestic disturbance call at an apartment. Around 6 p.m., Officer Elliott and another officer approached the subjects. A man from inside the apartment fired shots at both officers before fleeing. Both officers were transported to the hospital. Officer Elliott succumbed to his wounds a few hours later. Responding SWAT team officers took the suspect into custody about 10:17 p.m. He had served with the Beech Grove Police Department for over a year and previously served with the Marion County Sheriff's Office for 4 years. His survivors include his wife and his parents. If we're going to Trooper Michael Diego, Florida Highway Patrol in Florida. End of watch was February 18th of 2026. 28 years old, been on the job for 4 years and 3 months. Trooper Diego passed away after suffering a medical emergency at 12:30 p.m. while training for the Patrol Criminal Interdiction Unit at the Florida Highway Patrol Training Center. Despite life-saving measures by first responders, he passed away at the hospital. He had served with Florida Highway Patrol for over 4 years, assigned to Fort Pierce and Fort Myers districts. And survivors included his mother, his sister, and his fiancee. Next, we have Police Officer Caleb Abney from the Hahira Police Department in Georgia. End of watch was Thursday, February the 19th, 2026. 25 years old. He was struck and killed during a traffic stop on Interstate 75 at 12:09 a.m. He had pulled over a car on the northbound lanes of Interstate 75 near mile marker 31. He was sitting in his patrol vehicle with his emergency lights activated. The driver of the car, traveling at speeds of 100 miles an hour, crashed into the rear of his vehicle, pushing it into the rear of the other car he had pulled over. The collision caused all 3 vehicles to leave the highway. He died of his injuries on the scene. The driver who struck the officer's vehicle transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. He had served with the county fire rescue before becoming an officer. They don't say if he survived by anyone or not. Driving like that is deadly. Next, we have Master Trooper Stein Davis Jr. from the North Carolina Highway Patrol in North Carolina. End of watch was Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. He was 30 years old. He had 10 years and 6 months on the job. This man started in law enforcement when he was 20 years old. He was killed in a single vehicle crash on North Carolina Highway 130 shortly after midnight. Trooper David lost control of his patrol vehicle, swerved off the road, and his vehicle landed upside down on the roadside. He had served with the North Carolina Highway Patrol for over 10 years, assigned to Troop B, District 7. His survivors include his son, mother, some siblings, and his fiancée. February looks like it was a busy month. We have Corporal David M. Hathcock from the Montgomery Police Department in Alabama. End of watch was February 22nd, 2026. Age not available. He'd been on the job for 20 years. Corporal Hathcock succumbed to his injuries he sustained in a vehicle crash on November 9th, 2025. He had served with the police department for 20 years. Survivors included his wife and his 2 daughters. Next we have Deputy Sheriff Kenneth Lewis from Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office in Texas. End of watch was Monday, February 23rd, 2026. He was 51 years old. He had 11 years on the job. Deputy Lewis succumbed to his injuries he received when he was struck by a vehicle when he was helping a stranded motorist on Interstate 10. Around 3:40 a.m., he had stopped to help the vehicle on the side of the highway. While he was outside his vehicle, a passing vehicle struck him and kept driving. Transported to the hospital where he died February 23rd. The driver has not been apprehended. They might not even know who it was. He has served with the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office for 11 years and previously served with the Missouri City Police Department. He had 2 sons and a daughter. So this person ran over and killed this man and never stopped. Just kept going. Special place in hell. That's for anybody that does that, just because he's a cop, just anybody. Next, we have Deputy Sheriff Gabriel Ramirez from the Christian County Sheriff's Office in Missouri. And the watch was February 23rd, 2026. He was 30 years old. He had 11 months on the job. He was a military veteran. Deputy Ramirez was shot and killed while conducting a traffic stop on State Highway 160 at around 4 p.m. The suspect fled and a manhunt ensued. Responding officer found the suspect's truck abandoned. Using the suspect's heat signature, the Missouri State Highway tracked the suspect in the woods. When they approached the suspect, he fired at officers, striking and killing Deputy Sheriff Michael Hislop with the Christian County Sheriff's Office and wounding 2 other deputies, one with the Christian County Sheriff's Office and the other with the Webster County Sheriff's Office. The suspect, a convicted felon who had posted bail on February 20th, 2026 for an additional crime, was killed and injured in the gunfire. I don't know why I said injured. It's not in there. He was killed in the gunfire. Deputy Ramirez was a United States Army veteran and has served with the County Sheriff's Office for almost 1 year. Nothing about survivors. The dude just bonded out of jail. Some people, I wish they would look at some things sometimes and not give some of these people bonds, or make their bonds so high they can't get out. Too many of these criminals get in and out of jail and just end up doing stuff like this. Sergeant Michael, I'm gonna kill this last name, Schlattman from the Bernalillo, I don't know how to say it either, Sheriff's Office in New Mexico. End of watch was February 23rd, 2026. He was 52 years old. He had 13 years, 10 months on the job. He was struck and killed by a tractor trailer during a traffic stop. Around 5 p.m., he had pulled over a vehicle near mile marker 170. While he was outside of his patrol vehicle, a semi-truck hit his vehicle, pinning him between the two vehicles. He died at the scene. The driver was injured and released. On that stretch of highway, there have been over 100 crashes and multiple fatalities during sundown as the glare causes low visibility. The sergeant has served with the County Sheriff's Office for 13 years. Survivors include his father, his sister, his fiancée, and her children. So I'm taking it they didn't charge this man. Seems like they need to do something about that area. You having that many people killed right in that same stretch, 100 crashes. Next, we have Deputy Sheriff Michael Hislope, Christian County Sheriff's Office, Missouri, died February 24th. He was killed while attempting to apprehend the suspect that killed Sheriff Deputy Gabriel Ramirez. So he was one of the other officers that got killed when they were trying to apprehend him. He was 40 years old. He had 6 years and 4 months on the job, also a military veteran. He is survived by his wife, his daughter, son, his mother, father, 2 brothers, and 3 sisters. Next, we have Correctional Officer Dustin Pedigo from the Tennessee Department of Corrections, Tennessee. End of watch was Wednesday, February the 25th, 2026. He was 35 years old. He had 10 months on the job. He was stabbed and killed by an inmate at the Morgan County Correctional Complex. Suspect was serving a sentence for aggravated assault and attempted voluntary manslaughter. He has been moved to another facility. Officer Pego had only served there for 10 months. His survivors include his wife, his parents, his brothers, and his sisters. I don't know if they got the death penalty in that state or not. They need it. And that's it. So far, we already have 3 for March. Not going to read those. We'll be doing them at the end of the month. So, not looking good already for this year, are we? So hopefully we don't get any more for March, any more than the 3 that are already there. I appreciate y'all listening, and like I said, these are episodes I hate doing, but we're gonna do them again. I'm gonna go ahead and play this song I did, and then guess I'll see y'all Wednesday. Y'all want to come listen there? Y'all be safe out there.
Yeah.
soft and low. Coffee strong and the room's half awake. Boots on tile and quiet voices. Another shift about to take. Sergeant reads the calls for the night. Same street, same trouble out there. But something feels a little different. There's silence hanging in the air. A badge draped in black on the wall tonight, and a name nobody's ready to say. There's an empty chair at roll call, where a good cop used to sit. A coffee cup that won't be filled, and a joke we'll never hear again with it. He walked the line for all of us, through the danger and the fear. Now the squad stands quiet and broken, staring at that empty chair. His cruiser's parked out in the lot, still dusty from the road. A child's drawing taped inside, and a Bible in the console. He answered one more call for help, like he always used to do. But evil met him in the darkness before the night was through. Now the sirens cry like a wounded song as the motor units lead him home. There's an empty chair at roll call, where a hero used to be. A folded flag beside his badge, and a family on bended knee. He held the line for all of us when the world was cold and unfair. Now the squad stands silent and grieving, looking at that empty chair. But legends don't fade when their watch is done. Their courage still rides these streets, and every rookie pinning on a badge, and every heartbeat beneath these beats. When the radio calls and the night gets long, and fear creeps through the air, we remember the one who gave it all, in the chair that's waiting there. There's an empty chair at roll call, but his spirit's everywhere. In the oath we took, and the badge we wear, and the promise that we share. To stand the line no matter what, to serve, protect, and care, and never forget the hero who once filled that empty chair. And somewhere beyond those sirens tonight, where the brave and the fallen meet, a good cop finally rests his watch on heaven's quiet beat.